Morning. It's Thursday, the 17th of July, 2025. I said, look there. We've got a reform voter skulking off. He'll not stop and debate it. Oh, while we're at it, see that t-shirt? Now Then Festival, that takes place next week at Calverton. Next weekend, Calverton in Nottinghamshire. 75 quid for a weekend, I think. Loads of bands, loads of activities, loads of shops. Good beer, good company. What's not to like? I do believe you can get a day ticket and all. If you can't make the full weekend, there's good camping, hard standings, toilets, showers, got it all. Today though, I wanted to talk about the Afghan data scandal, but I'm going to. But before that, Keir Starmer's actually stole the limelight. Anyway, we should be knocking hell out at Tories. He's gone and he's removed the whip from 4 of his MPs yesterday. And Sky News, you couldn't believe it. Sky News, I've never seen a news broadcasting company as happy to announce it. This is how they did it.
In the last couple of minutes, the Prime Minister has suspended 4 Labour MPs for repeated breaches of party discipline. They're understood to, as you can see, by Brian Leishman, Chris Hinchliffe and Neil Duncan Jordan. And in the last few minutes, we believe that Rachel Maskell has become the 4th MP to be suspended. And Tamara Cohen has got more on this. We're now up to 4, as you suggested in the last hour.
That's right. Confirmed that 4 have lost the whip, including Rachel Maskell. The 3 you first mentioned were only elected a year ago. They are Labour MPs for Poole, for North East Herefordshire and for the Grangemouth constituency. They have all been very active in the rebellion against the welfare changes, which forced the government into quite a significant U-turn, but I'm told it's not just about that. We've now also learnt an additional bit of information, which is 3 further Labour MPs have had their roles as trade envoys taken off them, and they are Rosanna Allen Khan, Bel Ribeiro, Adi and Mohammed Yassin.
Okay.
And they were also active in the welfare rebellion. But the government feel that it goes beyond that. This is about persistent breaches of party discipline, they say.
So the 4 MPs are Brian Leishman, Chris Hinchliffe, Neil Duncan Jordan and Rachel Maskell, and 3 Labour MPs have also had their roles as trade envoys taken off them. Dr. Rosanna Allen Khan, Bel Ribeiro Adi and Mohammed Yassin. And he's removed the whip from them for, he's saying, they've repeatedly breached party discipline. What he means is basically they've been opposing cuts to welfare and disability payments. And what they did do, they stuck to their principles, did the right thing by their constituents, and hopefully they might defect to Corbyn's new party whenever it starts. And for the rest of the Labour MPs, if Starmer is not removing the whip from you, you need to look in the mirror and have a fucking long hard look at yourself. On to the Afghan data scandal. Who would have thought it? It all started on fucking Spaffer Johnson's watch. Truss says she didn't know about it when she took over. Because she knew she was foreign secretary, I think, under Johnson. And also Sunak, he knew about it. And what he did, when it was due, when the super injunction were up, the day before, he called a fucking election. And then he left it all in Labour's lap. Ben Wallace was the MP who faced the super injunction in, and he is now a Sir. Zia Youssef, he was going mad, and he said it could be the biggest political cover-up in his lifetime. And he laced into Robert Jenrick, and he laced into Suella Braverman. So much that Ral Braverman, who joined Reform in December, yesterday, left. He put a tweet out, he said, I've left the party with imminent effect, stating I will explain my reasons for doing so in due course. basically, zeer slight silver over man off. As she was Home Secretary, and she denied any knowledge on it anyway, as they would do, as has Jenrick. Interestingly, in all this, 30 pence Lee, he's in it up to his neck, I'm sure, he was deputy chair at the Tory party, and he's been awful quiet. He's not been on social media yesterday, which is rare for him. And he said 24,000 Afghans security are coming here, and they're costing us £7 billion. Not much when you say it quick, is it? Moving swiftly on Tuesday, the rape gang victims from across the country met in Parliament to highlight their injustices, and sadly, listen to this, sadly not one Reform MP turned up to see him. Ed Davey, the Lib Dem leader, yesterday he were on BBC and he were calling him out for he said you keep platforming Farage, or you don't hold him to account. And here he is saying,
I'm really worried about what he could do to our country, because he comes up with all the problems and says it's all everyone else's fault. He has no solutions, and I think he needs to be exposed. And I have to say the BBC are not doing a very good job of doing that. You know, you have him on, he gets away with all these arguments without being properly held to account. That's why I'm bringing him up today. I think the BBC needs to do a better job, needs to hold Nigel Farage to account. And if I have to come on your programme to do that, I'll do just that.
You see, there's no solutions. You have him on here, you don't hold him to account. If I have to come on here on your programme to do that, I'll do just that. What he does, Farage, he gets the same sort of pass as Johnson, doesn't he? If you remember, Johnson could go on and say, oh, nobody held him to account. And that's what they do with him. Later on, Davey, who appears to be the real opposition to this government, he stood up and he said this.
Is looking on in horror at the scenes from Gaza. And now Netanyahu's ministers want to lock the whole population of Gaza into effectively a giant prison. A plan that would clearly amount to ethnic cleansing, as former Israeli Prime Minister Olmert has said. Does the Prime Minister agree that this is utterly abhorrent and unacceptable? And will he make clear to the Israeli government that the UK will not stand idly by and will act, starting by sanctioning Prime Minister Netanyahu himself?
The world is looking on in horror at the scenes from Gaza as Israel plots to lock Gaza, the Gaza population, into effectively a giant prison. This is ethnic cleansing. Here, Ed, is growing on me, Ed Davey, believe it or not. And while he was saying that, guess what happened? Israel were actually bombing fucking Syria. Do you know what? That's 3 countries they're bombing, and they have no consequence under international law. And last but not least, what about this? Stanley Johnson, he got £4.4 million for his house. They took it off him by compulsory purchase order when they thought it was HS2 were going to go through his house. And you know what? It never went there, so he got 4.4 million for a fucking £1.5 million house. That's how it works, kids. Have a super day, everybody. And wake the fuck up. Wakey, wakey. Get some sun cream on. Enjoy the sun.